want to inform you on why breastfeeding is beneficial and should be a lot more encouraged everywhere. So, thinking back on my breastfeeding experience, I remember I was extremely discouraged, especially out in public. I felt very uncomfortable myself, and I just had people staring at me all the time, and it just made me feel extremely discouraged to the point where I ended up stopping breastfeeding and just going to bottles and formula. And thinking back, I really regret doing that because I think about the nutrients that my own daughter missed out on. So, public breastfeeding should be encouraged for women because it's good for the nutrition of a baby. It's a lot more cheaper compared to bottle with formula, and it breast should not be sexualized. It's a nutrition factor, and I think we need to keep that in mind. So, breastfeeding is good for the nutrition and it helps the health of a baby long term. According to Baby Center, which is a website that produces a lot of articles on baby stuff, and a lot of their stuff is edited by medics and medicals, and just depending on what type of article it is. So this is a quote from one of their articles which says, numerous studies from around the world have shown that stomach viruses, lower respiratory illnesses, ear infections, and meningitis occur less often in breastfed babies and are less severe when they do happen. So this is already great for a baby. It prevents all these infections. And even if they do get it, it's a lot less severe. So why are women not being more encouraged to do it? Women produce what we call secretory LGA in their breast milk. And that is what helps fight germs in the nose, the throat, and their intestines. And it's a great nutrition for babies, for their health, even in the long term. So it should be a lot more encouraged. So it's also a lot cheaper versus bottle with formula. So why aren't women going that route more often if it's going to save them money? Babies are already expensive enough. Breast milk is natural and it's free. It produces freely versus formula and bottle feeding, which you have to buy bottles, you have to buy bottle nibbles, you have to buy formula, and then you have to replace a bottle every time you lose it. Right here I have a bottle that I bought of my own for my daughter when I was bottle feeding her. This came in a pack of 3. I purchased it and it costed me $20, and that was actually a sale price. And thinking back on how many bottles of these I went through dozens of them. And it's just crazy to me, and I start thinking, like, how much money did I really even end up spending on just bottles itself? And it was a lot of money. And according to Ben Joseph on his article, Breastfeeding versus Formula, it can cost up to $1,500 for a baby to be breastfed just in the first year of their life. That is a lot of money just for 1 year, just for feeding. That's just feeding. That's not including everything else a baby requires. A lot of women end up choosing bottles instead of formula because they get shamed for breastfeeding in public. So they eventually go off and start doing bottles. And then after bottles, they eventually stop producing breast milk because they're missing the stimulation of their baby with their breast. So then they switch up to formula. And then eventually they just stick to formula and bottle, which is very, it's really wrong that they're being shamed for something so natural as breastfeeding to the point where they end up choosing bottle and formula. Women are shamed. They're asked to cover up. They're asked to leave the premises. They're asked to feed babies in a bathroom stall. Just Google women bodies shamed in public, and you'd be surprised at how many videos, articles, blogs of moms, just stating what their experience was being shamed for breastfeeding in public, which is very unfair for a mom. They're discouraged. They feel like they need to stay in their homes, which is, what should they do? Should they become hoarders and just stay inside and not live their life and not go about their day-to-day routines just because they make people uncomfortable? Breasts should not be sexualized. Let's just look away. If it makes us that uncomfortable, let's look away. So, in conclusion, I encourage you to encourage, you know, those around you to just breastfeed. If it makes you uncomfortable, just look away, you know, and it's good for the overall health of a baby. It's natural and it's free. And women shouldn't feel sexualized or like they can't go out because they're making other people uncomfortable. So let's not shame those around us for doing something so natural like breastfeeding. Thank you.